music lovers. So you asked us to dive into this whole AI music thing that's blowing up on Spotify. And honestly, I'm kind of stumped. Is this the future of music? Some new way to chase those dollar signs? Or
Yeah.
something we haven't even thought of yet? We've got your stack of articles right here, ready to unpack this whole thing.
What really gets me is how this is all happening on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's not some experiment in a basement somewhere. This is hitting the mainstream, right on our playlists. Wild.
No kidding. So first up, we've got this article about AI bands like, get this, jet fuel and ginger ales. Like, who comes up with these names?
Right.
But names aside, they're apparently getting tons of listens, mostly covers of popular songs.
And it's not just covers. The article mentions A Way Past 3, Gutter Grinders. They've all got this, like, dystopian robot rock star vibe. Kind of catchy, actually.
Oh, right.
But it makes you wonder, are these bands even real? Like, no humans involved at all, just AI.
That's the big question. And the article mentions some artists are using that to their advantage, creating these fake personas to game Spotify's algorithms and rake in the royalties. Like that whole thing with Johan Röhr, but on a whole other level.
Oh yeah, Johan Röhr, he's practically a legend by now, releasing music under like hundreds of different names,
Yeah.
all to work around the system, get those royalty checks.
Exactly.
It really shows you how hard it is for artists to make a living.
Yeah.
They have to get creative, even if it means bending the rules sometimes.
Yeah. True, but this AI thing feels different, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
if it's not technically breaking Spotify's rules, is it even a problem? It makes me question this whole idea of what it means to be an artist. Can an algorithm really be artistic? Where's the human touch, the emotion, all that?
That's the million-dollar question, right? This whole AI-generated music thing, it's blurring the lines. If an AI is writing the song and performing it, who's the artist? The programmer, the people who made the AI in the first place. It gets complicated fast.
And what about all the human musicians out there trying to make it? If Spotify gets flooded with AI music, will they even get a chance, let alone get paid?
It's definitely something to think about. The article did mention that Spotify took down this one AI artist, Sophia Pitcher, I think it was. Turns out she was completely fabricated. So they're paying attention to some extent.
That's good to know.
But how do you even police something as complex as AI-generated music? And how do we make sure human artists aren't getting left behind in all this?
So much to unpack here. We've got AI bands with made-up names, this potential for gaming the system, and then this fundamental question of whether AI can even be considered an artist. It's a lot to take in, but you know what else is blowing my mind? This whole idea of using AI to bring back dead celebrities.
It really is something, isn't it? It's like
Like-
this technology is breathing new life into old art forms, but also like challenging what art even is.
Totally. It's like we've got these estates using AI to bring back voices like James Dean and Judy Garland for audiobooks, even new movies. It just feels kind of strange, Like hearing a new album by an artist who's been gone for decades.
It's definitely pushing boundaries. The article mentions James Dean's estate. They're using AI to have him narrate The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, wow.
It's like they're taking this voice from the golden age of Hollywood and using it to reimagine a classic story.
Okay, you know what? That actually sounds kind of cool, but where's the line? The article also talks about this new movie, Return to Eden, that's using a completely digital James Dean as a character.
Right.
That feels different.
Yeah, it's a huge difference going from narration to a full-on acting performance. And it's not just James Dean. They've tried it with actors like Paul Walker and Peter Cushing. Raises all sorts of questions about consent, authenticity.
For sure. It's one thing to have Judy Garland reading an audiobook, but creating a whole new performance, that feels, I don't know.
It's tricky, right?
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, this tech could preserve these iconic figures and introduce them to new generations. But on the other hand, are we just manipulating their image and voice without their consent? It's a conversation we need to be having.
Definitely. It makes you wonder, would these artists even want this?
It's impossible to know for sure in many cases. Some artists might have said what they wanted, but others, we have no idea. That's where the estates come in and the rules we make around all this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so ethics aside, how does this even work? Like, technically speaking, how do you create a performance from someone who's gone?
It's actually pretty fascinating. It's this mix of archival stuff, AI, and a lot of, well, artistry, I guess.
Okay.
They start by finding as much source material as they can. Audio recordings, video footage, even home videos to capture all those little details.
So they basically feed all that to an AI and say, make me a James Dean.
Pretty much. It analyzes all that data, learns their voice, their expressions, everything. Then They use CGI and deep learning algorithms to create a digital avatar that can deliver lines, even act.
Deep learning algorithms. Okay, now you're just trying to sound smart.
Sorry. Just think of deep learning as a type of AI that's really good at processing tons of data. In this case, it's studying all that footage of James Dean to understand how he moves and speaks.
So like training a really, really good impersonator.
Yeah, something like that. But even with all this tech, you still need human creativity. The AI gives you the tools, but it's up to the filmmakers, the writers, to craft the actual performance.
So it's not just about recreating what someone looked and sounded like, it's about capturing who they were.
Exactly. And that's where it gets even more complex. What happens when AI gets so good you can't tell the difference? How do we as an audience know it's real anymore?
That's a good point. It's already getting harder to tell. This article even mentions a new show, Elvis Evolution. It has a hologram of Elvis performing on stage.
That's a perfect example of how this tech can create these crazy immersive experiences. Imagine seeing your favorite band from like decades ago live in concert.
Wow.
The possibilities are mind-blowing.
Okay, so we've gone from AI bands on Spotify to digital James Dean starring in movies. It really feels like we're on the verge of something huge here, like a whole new world of entertainment. But where do we go from here? Like, is AI going to take over the entire music industry?
You know, I think it's a little early to be planning the funeral for human musicians just yet.
True.
Music, it's about more than just hitting the right notes or having perfect timing. It's about emotion, creativity. Those are things you get from a live performance, from connecting with other people.
No doubt. There's something about being in a crowd, feeling that energy, that I don't think a hologram can replicate.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean AI won't change things. I mean, it already is, right? It's changing how music is made, shared, experienced, the whole game.
And as technology keeps getting better.
Exactly. AI's influence is only going to grow.
So what does that actually mean for the future of music? What will it look like?
That's a million-dollar question, isn't it? It's hard to say for sure.
Right.
But I think we'll probably see more collaboration. You know, human musicians and AI working together, each playing to their strengths.
Like a band with a robot drummer.
Maybe. Or, think about it, we could have entirely new genres of music created by algorithms. Stuff we can't even imagine yet.
That's kind of exciting.
Right. Or even personalized soundtracks generated in real time based on your mood.
Whoa. Okay, now that's both really cool and kind of creepy at the same time.
It is wild, isn't it? Like, this tech really makes you rethink what's possible.
That's a good way to put it.
It's like anything that shakes things up a little unsettling at first, but it can also lead to some seriously cool stuff.
So instead of being scared of the robot music takeover, maybe we should be embracing the good that can come from it.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
We should be thinking about how to use AI as a tool, to make music even better, to explore new sounds, to broaden our horizons.
I love that.
It's on all of us, listeners and artists alike, to shape this future responsibly.
This whole conversation has given me so much to think about. How about you? What's sticking with you?
For me, it's how this all fits into the bigger picture. It's not just about music. It's about how technology is changing, how we see art, how we interact with it. We're not just sitting back and listening anymore. We're part of this whole evolving thing.
And that's both exciting and, like you said before, a little bit daunting.
Exactly.
It's going to be a wild ride, that's for sure. And on that note, we want to hear from you. If AI could bring back any musician from history for a collab, who would you pick? What kind of music would they make? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, keep those ears open and those minds curious.